Yes, welcome everyone. Marijuana Times show for November 7th, 2016. I am your host, Joe Klare. You find myself and many other great writers over at marijuanatimes.org. We're covering cannabis news and opinion for you in the community, the industry, and beyond. Go check out marijuanatimes.org. You'll also be able to find these videos there. You'll be able to go share them. All very easy. Technology is amazing. Welcome to the Marijuana Times Show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, including taxes in California, whether or not they'll be too high. Also, the ignorance, I guess, for lack of a better term, when it comes to the governor of Kentucky and what he thinks about marijuana. Also, tax revenue numbers out of Alaska. They're now cultivating recreational adult use cannabis in Alaska and how that's going. But first, I'll tell you about our awesome sponsor at naturesidecannabis.com. If you are a grower, and if you're in California or Colorado or Oregon or Washington, you know there's regulations you have to follow. You can't be putting harmful pesticides into your grows. You'll run afoul of regulations, either existing regulations or regulations that are coming down the pike very soon. In any case, you don't want to be selling your customers harmful substances or cannabis with harmful pesticides and chemicals in them. Get organic, all-natural pesticides from naturesidecannabis.com, a proud sponsor of the Marijuana Times Show. Thank you to Natureside. Now, to the news. I know. I'm going to work on that. I'm not sure that's a segue I'm looking for, but for now, well, I don't know. I think it's growing on me. I think the more I do it, the more the more I like it. So, to the news. No, now I don't like it again. Now I hate it. Let me know in the comments section. Tell me what you think. If you have a suggestion, whatever, just let me know. This first story is one I wrote over at marijuanatimes.org. Will taxes be too high on legal marijuana in California? There's a new report from a global credit ratings firm called Fitch Ratings. They said taxes on legal marijuana, adult use marijuana, in some parts of California could equal or even exceed 45%. That's right, you heard me correctly. 45%. The firm said high tax rates raise prices in legal markets, reinforcing the price advantage of black markets. This is obvious. California's black markets for cannabis were well established long before its voters legalized cannabis in November 2016 and are expected to dominate post-legalization production. As they said, the problem with high taxes, because obviously black market cannabis, the black market cannabis you get from your dealer is not taxed. So raising taxes and putting high taxes on legal marijuana is going to raise the price. And if the price is too high, people will just stick with their dealers. A lot of people may plan on it anyway if the prices are similar. A lot of other things go into that are factored into that, obviously. How well you know your illegal dealer, the ease, the convenience, all of that stuff. You know, maybe if your dealer gets on your nerves, you'll go buy it legally, even if it's a little bit more. Or you're afraid of getting caught, even if it's a little bit more, you go buy it legally. But if it's a lot more, why would you go do that? There are certain advantages when it comes to marijuana being legal, of course, but you take away a lot of those advantages if it's too high. Those advantages don't matter. The legality, a nice place to go get it, the constant supply, the consistent quality, things of that nature if it's too expensive. And that's going to be a constant battle, as I've said many times before. Even after legalization is a thing, and we have it in all 50 states, and it's national, federal legalization, and all that, there's still going to be rules, restrictions, and taxes that we're going to have to fight and continue to fight for many, many years to come. And, well, I mean, that's a shame. California, they got a 15% excise tax on legal cannabis. Also, a lot of local communities are passing local sales taxes anywhere from 7.75% to 9.75%. There's also a $9.25 per ounce tax on cannabis flowers and $2.75 per ounce for leaves, which is not a good idea. The dollar amount. I mean, if you're going to do a percentage, that's going to have to be changed less. But a dollar amount, they're going to be tinkering with that all the time, or at least wanting to. Next story comes from the Louisville Courier-Journal, courierjournal.com. This is out of my state of Kentucky. And our governor is quite ignorant when it comes to marijuana. This is a story about what he said recently during a question and answer session at a luncheon with business leaders in Lexington, the Republican governor, who, by the way, when he ran as governor of Kentucky, he was all for medical marijuana. He's a proponent, a supporter of medical marijuana. But since then, I'm not sure what's happened. Of course, he hasn't lifted a finger to do anything about, helping us get medical marijuana passed in Kentucky. In the question and answer session, he said he opposed legalizing recreational marijuana use, in part because he claims marijuana edibles like gummy bears cause, quote, overdoses in states where they're legal. He said, quote, if you're already a little bit doped up and you're getting doped up by eating gummy bears are addicting enough already, Bevin said. There aren't many people in this room who can open up a pack of 20 and just eat 3 or 4, but now imagine if they're laced with THC. Of course, he's implying that you're combining the quote-unquote addictive qualities of gummy bears, which I don't subscribe to, but whatever. For the sake of argument, let's say that gummy bears are addicting. You're going to combine that with the quote-unquote addictive nature or properties of THC, and now it's very addictive, and if you just get a bag of marijuana gummies, you're not going to be able to eat just one. If you get a bag of 10 marijuana gummies or 20 marijuana gummies, you're going to have to eat them all. Because you are an immature child who knows nothing about dosing and just sees gummy bears, and the gummy bears are going to get me high. Yay, gummy bears. I'm going to eat them all because I can't control myself. Bevin, like many people, have ridiculous notions about marijuana, which is fine. You can have any dumb opinion about marijuana you want, but when you have power like Governor Bevin does, or Jeff Sessions does, ignorance of marijuana leads to laws that punish those who use it. Medical marijuana patients, people who need marijuana in Kentucky, they're being punished. Been trying for quite a few years to get medical marijuana in Kentucky. There's been hearings down in Frankfurt, so on and so on. But it doesn't matter. Now we got this governor who said he was for medical marijuana, now against recreational marijuana. He's got a problem with that. Dr. Daniel Vigil of the Marijuana Health and Monitoring Research Program at the Colorado Department of Public Health said neither of the statements that the governor made are very accurate. He said most people think of an overdose along the lines of opioid overdose, which is life-threatening. Marijuana on its own would not be life-threatening, but the behavior related to it could put someone in danger of death. Vigil said overconsumption is a more accurate word, and he stated that there are roughly 200 reported cases of overconsumption according to Colorado's Poison Control Data Center. Of those 240 other victims were younger than 8 years old. And yes, you have to keep your marijuana gummies away from, and your brownies and whatever, away from your children, obviously. At the very least, it's not going to kill them. It's not going to kill you. He's right. When you say overdose, people think, oh, well, overdose. That means you might die. But you're not going to die with cannabis. You're going to be fine. You may not feel fine, and you may need to sit down for a while, and you may need to ride it out if you take too much, which is why you got to be important, or you got to be vigilant in the first place and observant in the first place to know how much you're taking. And take the correct amount and the correct dose. Last but not least, stories from Alaska Dispatch News, new tax revenue numbers out of Alaska. Cannabis tax in Alaska raised over $700,000 in September. Alaska's marijuana tax revenue continued a steady upward climb in September with $723,757 collected statewide, according to a state official. 64 growers from across the interior, South Central, and Southeast paid taxes to the Alaska Department of Revenue last month, wrote Kelly Mazzee, excise tax supervisor in the tax division. Growers pay a tax of $50 an ounce for bud and $15 an ounce for other parts of the plant, like the leaves and the stems. Total of 716 pounds of bud was sold wholesale in September. 630 pounds of trim, which resulted in the tax revenue, the aforementioned tax revenue. And I'm one of those people, like many, who feel that marijuana shouldn't be taxed, but it's going to be taxed. It's going to be. There's no way around that. And it's a major selling point when it comes to legalization. When those who don't smoke, but people think others should be able to smoke and think it would be good for the economy and think that it's a waste of time that marijuana users and cannabis users are arrested, when those people hear, oh, well, certain percentage of money will go to schools and infrastructure and so on and so forth, they're more likely to vote and support a marijuana legalization bill. Some may not like that. It's too bad. It's the way things are. It's the way things are going to be. Legalization is going to come with taxes. Everything comes with taxes. That's the world we live in. I disagree with it. You may disagree with it. That's fine. If you disagree, I agree with you. I don't think marijuana should be taxed at all. I wish it wouldn't be taxed at all, but it will be. And that's the bottom line, because that's the way things are. Stone Cold Steve Austin, please don't sue me. I did not mean to use your trademark phrase. I'm sorry. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Checking out the Marijuana Times Show. I am Joe Klare. This is the Marijuana Times Show for November 7th, 2017. Go share. If you want to be a sponsor of this show, like naturesidecannabis.com, thanks again to them. Organic, pesticides, all natural, naturesidecannabis.com. If you want to be a sponsor of the Marijuana Times Show, contact us, info@marijuanatimes.org. Let us know, and we will hook that up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I am Joe Klare. Go check out me and many others at marijuanatimes.org. And we'll see you next time. Peace.